I am surprised at this development. This is, I mean, in the midst of elections, for him to go and review the Kashmir situation, um, if nothing untoward has happened or is likely to happen, then why should the Home Minister of India make a visit when he's so busy uh, in elections in the rest of the country? So it is a very surprising development, and I think security could not be the only reason. The Election Commission is not an independent institution anymore. The Election Commission may have thought that this will give enough opportunity to Mr. Modi to go and campaign in every phase. So 7 phases. He has played it over a long period of time. He played this Hindu-Muslim card in Gujarat elections, as we are aware, in every Gujarat election. He has played this card in the 2 national elections. Now, the third time, people are not going to be impressed by this. The corporates in India, they smell the prospects faster than other people. And I think they also have realized, like a vast majority of other Indians, that this election is not going the Modi way.
Hello and welcome to In Conversation with Kashmir Times. I'm Anuradha Bhasin, and India is in the middle of general elections. The process is long drawn, stretched into 7 phases, spanning over 40 days. 4 phases are over, which means we've already well crossed the halfway mark. The elections are deemed to be significant for India and Indian democracy. It will determine whether the BJP under Narendra Modi gets a 3rd term, or will it be voted out. We are going to talk about what's at stake in these elections and much more. My guest today is the former Indian Finance Minister, Mr. Yashwant Sinha, who needs no introduction. He's been a bureaucrat and he's been in politics. He's well versed with Indian politics, its society, and is also an economic expert. Welcome, Mr. Yashwant Sinha, and thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you. Thank you, Anuradha ji.
So, Mr. Sinha, do you think these elections are different from 2019 or even 2014? And what are the issues at stake in these elections?
These elections are quite different from 2014 and 2019 for the simple reason that 2014 was a wave election. You are aware of the fact that the UPA government had lost its sheen because of serious corruption charges against the government, its ministers. And therefore, and Mr. Modi came with a fresh new image riding on the success story of Gujarat on the national scene. And therefore, everyone was very impressed by this, and it became a wave election in favor of the BJP led by Mr. Modi. And the results bear testimony to the fact that for the first time after many decades, India had a government which had its own majority in parliament. It did not have to depend on allies to get that majority. So 2014 was a wave election. 2019 was even a bigger wave election. And the issue in 2019 was national security. You're aware of the fact that 42 or so Indian troops lost their lives in a terrorist attack in Pulwama,
Yes,
which led to a strike deep inside, as it is claimed, inside the Pakistani territory in Balakot, in Pak-occupied Kashmir. And this was considered to be a big humiliation for Pakistan. And Mr. Modi used it to the hilt, saying, we will hit them where it hurt the hardest. and we'll not mind if we have to enter their territory and hit them. All this resonated with the people. They felt that at last there was a leader in India who was not scared of Pakistan and is striking it deep into Pakistan. And therefore it became a wave election. You're aware of the fact that if you drag Pakistan into our elections and successfully at that, then it becomes a major vote winner. And it became a major vote winner in 2019. So 2019 was also a wave election. As far as 2024, this election is concerned, I'm on the ground. I'm here in my old constituency, and I noticed that there is no wave. There is absolutely no excitement as far as these elections are concerned. People are going about the task. They will go out and vote on the appointed day. The political parties are doing their best to reach out to the people, but there is no wave. And there is a certain amount of indifference among the people with regard to these elections. So this election is a very matter-of-fact election. Like in earlier times, it is being held at the peak of summer. Summer also is a great disincentive for people to go out and vote. So compared to the last time, as you would have noticed, the percentage of votes polled has gone down, which is another sign of the fact that people have not shown great enthusiasm in going out and voting. So 2024, after a long time, is going to be a matter of fact. 4 phases have already been held. Peculiar feature of this election, that the Election Commission, for reasons well known to itself, has extended this election to 7 phases over 40 days.
Yes.
I mean, I can't think of any election which has had such an elongated span as this one. So the idea, because the Election Commission is not an independent institution anymore, the Election Commission may have thought that this will give enough opportunity to Mr. Modi to go and campaign in every phase. So 7 phases. But this also has gone against the Bharatiya Janata Party because immediately after the first phase, the word went round that the election has not gone in favor of the BJP. And after every round, this impression has been further strengthened. As a result of which, the supporters of BJP feel depressed and the opposition is enthusiastic.
So when you say there's no wave, what really are the people voting for? Is it back to the issues of sadak, bijli, pani, basic development, their day-to-day lives? Is it about that?
They are looking at their day-to-day worries, which is bijli, pani, sadak. They are also looking at the unprecedented price rise, which has taken place in this country. The youth particularly are disenchanted because they are unemployed in large numbers. So unemployment and price rise, which are issues which the opposition has picked up against the government, is also resonating with the people. Now, the war cry of the BJP is 400 seats this time.
Yes.
And the opposition has succeeded in convincing the people that they want 400 seats because they want to change Baba Saheb Ambedkar's constitution. And this also is an issue which is resonating with the people.
You know, as you said, that economy and employment, price rise, these are the major prime driving factors in these elections. So how miserable does Modi government's report card on economy, on development look?
It's a pretty miserable report card. And that's why nobody in the ruling party, including the Prime Minister, is talking about the government's report card. They're not talking about their achievements over the last 10 years. They are only talking about, as you are aware, the Prime Minister has lost his sense of proportion completely and is talking about all kinds of things.
Yes, we'll
So
come back to that later. But
even going to the ridiculous extent of saying that if you have two bullocks or buffaloes, then the Congress party will take away one and give it to the Muslims. He is talking about Mangal Sutra being taken away from the ladies. He is talking about all kinds of things. He is trying his best. He is trying his best, Anuradha ji, to make this election a Hindu-Muslim election. But Muslims have been very circumspect, and the Hindus.
Sorry, I'll interrupt you here. We'll come back to this. But talking about economic growth, when you say that the report card really doesn't look good, and they've been talking about economic growth, that it's really doing well. They're talking about poverty alleviation. They're bringing out some data saying that hunger has gone down to 5%. In terms of development, they'll point out to fancy airports, big expressways, Vande Bharat trains. And, as a former finance minister and as an economist, how do you see these claims?
These are not issues which impress the people. How many Vande Bharat trains are running in what parts of the country? It does not touch the life of the ordinary Indian. The ordinary Indian is affected by the price rise that he is facing in earning his daily bread. And if that becomes difficult because he's not getting employment, he's not getting any opportunity to work, so his day's earnings are lost. These are issues of day to day which have affected him over a period of time, not in the last 3 months. And let me tell you that the Modi government is talking either about 2047, they're talking about a 5 trillion economy, $5 trillion economy. Now, people here don't understand trillion, they don't understand dollar, but this is a jumla or a slogan which is being touted by the Modi government. So 5 trillion economy sometime in the future. Then they are talking about the past, they're talking about Aurangzeb. So they are either talking about the past or they're talking about the distant future. They are deliberately not talking about the present because they don't have much to say about the present. And the Prime Minister himself, as I said, has lost all sense of proportion. I can't recall in my long experience of Indian elections any Prime Minister who would have used this kind of language.
And this is very different from what he's been saying in the past. Earlier, his government, though it has excessively promoted communalism or hate speeches, encouraged vigilante mobs, and he's looked away, but he's not, there may have been rare occasions when he made some references, but he hasn't been constantly saying, these Hindu-Muslim speeches. But this time, deliberately and consistently, he's been talking about, invoking that narrative of Hindu khatre mein hai. And as you mentioned, talking about buffaloes and Mangal Sutras and calling Muslims infiltrators. But do you think this is being done consciously to enlarge probably to further consolidate his Hindu majoritarian base? Or has he lost the plot? Is he rattled?
He's rattled. He's lost the plot. Like souffle, this particular theme is not going to rise again. He has played it over a long period of time. He played this Hindu-Muslim card in Gujarat elections, as we are aware. In every Gujarat election, he has played this card in the 2 national elections. Now, the third time, people are not going to be impressed by this. And therefore, this is not working. And the less it works, the more desperate he is getting. And therefore, he is coming out with all kinds of fantastic statements and claims, which again are not impressing the people.
So how do you see, much of what he's saying, he's reacting to the Congress manifesto. And how do you see the Congress manifesto, which is at many levels being called radical?
Well, I think Mr. Modi has done much more than the Congress party itself to propagate the contents of the manifesto, because he has been talking about it. He's been saying that Islam Muslim League manifesto. So, like on every occasion, he is trying to polarize on the base of communalism. The Congress Party manifesto and the guarantees that the Congress Party has made, and the Congress workers, I'm aware, are going from door to door and are giving these guarantee cards. It is impressing people. People are getting impressed by the fact that 5 kilos of free ration will be raised to 10. They are impressed by the fact that they will provide jobs to every seeker of jobs, and their guarantees seem to be impressing the people.
And when he's talking, when we go back to the Prime Minister's speeches, and which are odd, and which you point out, he's talking about things that are absurd. Most of them is about the, kind of invoking the Hindu-Muslim divide. But there's one outlier. His references to Adani, Ambani, and, the tempo loads of money that have gone to Congress, and which was amusing and surprising. But if there is method in this madness, if it's deliberate, what purpose does it serve? And even if it serves any purpose, why would Modi give his close friends under the bus?
Not difficult to seek a reason for this. As you're aware, the corporates in India, they smell the prospects faster than other people. And I think they also have realized, like a vast majority of other Indians, that this election is not going the Modi way. And therefore, they want to be on the right side of the paths that would be after the election. There must be some indication that they have financially helped the opposition parties. Mr. Modi would obviously get to know about it. And therefore, I would regard this as a warning to Adani and Ambani that beware. When I come back, then I'm going to, ask for an account of this from you. But it is also simultaneously an indication of the fact that the corporates are leaving the sinking ship one by one.
So, you talked about corporates, 4 phases of the election are over. So do you see winds of change, or is it just a mirage?
No, I clearly see the winds of change. As I said, I'm here on the ground. I'm not sitting in Delhi. Delhi also ground zero, no doubt. But I'm meeting hundreds of people every day in my village. I'm talking to them. I'm reading the newspapers. I'm seeing the reports of other agencies. And let me tell you one thing. I don't see anyone telling me that the BJP is going to win 400 seats or even get a majority of 272. Nobody is saying it. Everyone is saying that it's a tough election. BJP with its allies may not reach the magic mark, and the election is not going the Modi way.
So what happens if he doesn't get a majority? Or, it's not likely that the India alliance gets a majority either. And what would happen if
I would not be surprised, Anuradha. I would not be surprised if the India alliance gets a majority. And again, to bring you back to local circumstances, let me say. I'm sitting here in the state of Jharkhand. Jharkhand has 14 Lok Sabha seats. In 2004, when I was contesting the election in my constituency, and I was the foreign minister of India at that time, the opposition was united in a way. It was not a very well done job, but they were still united. And what happened was that in the earlier election, the BJP had won, I think, 13 out of the 14 seats. In the 2004 elections, we lost 13 out of the 14 seats, lost 13. We were all wiped out. The BJP was wiped out only because the opposition parties were fighting together. And I remember my votes here in my constituency did not decline. I got the same number of votes that I had in the previous election.
Mhm.
But what happened was that the main contestant against me got 100,000 votes more than me. That's because they all got united. So this time also, this unity across the board, across India, is going to have a very telling effect on the prospects of the BJP. This alliance, the India alliance or whatever.
Okay, that's interesting. Now, coming to Kashmir, you're somebody who was involved with Jammu and Kashmir since 2016, when you headed the Concerned Citizens Group. And you continued the work, I know, even after 2019. You know the region well, its politics, its issues. You met a cross-section of people. How do you see the last 5 years in Kashmir, and how do you see the elections today? Especially in Kashmir, one phase is over, and there was a voter turnout that looks promising. It's up from 14.2% to 38% this year. Also that, the BJP, despite trumpeting that narrative that we've done a great job, people are happy on the ground, we brought in a lot of development and progress, and they haven't, and they did everything from delimitation of constituencies, which would have benefited BJP, but they're not fielding their candidates. So how do you see this Kashmir scenario?
Well, I think Kashmiris have been very wise, as always, and they decided that they are not going to lose lives. They are not going to sacrifice their lives to the bullets of the Indian forces, Indian police and paramilitary forces. And therefore, there is a peculiar hush in Kashmir. They're silent. They have fallen silent. As you know, the Kashmiris are people with a great deal of patience. They don't mind waiting for another 10, 20, 50 years. They'll wait for the right time to assert their rights. At the moment, I'm also very happy they're not unnecessarily sacrificing their lives. But I'm aware of the fact, even in my last visit to Kashmir, I saw, that was a few 2-3 years ago, that security forces were at every doorstep, at every crossroad, and it is an enforced calm. It is not a calm which people have embraced. They are going about their normal business because, as I said, they have very wisely decided not to sacrifice their lives. So I wouldn't say that the Kashmir issue or the problems we faced in Kashmir have vanished. It is nothing of that sort, though I think the government would like us to believe that the higher voter turnout is the reason for that. They have been extremely unfair to the state of Jammu and Kashmir by, as you know, dividing the state into two parts, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. And there is a great deal of unrest, as you're aware, in Ladakh. So the Ladakh result will also be surprising. The BJP has nothing in the valley. So there they are not going to get seats. Jammu is an area where they have some influence. Remains to be seen what happens. But some people tell me that even Jitendra Singh, the minister's constituency, is not very safe at this time.
The feedback that we get is both seats are not very safe for the BJP. And the interesting thing is, while they're talking about development being the factor for a high voter turnout in Kashmir, the voter turnout in Jammu, where they have their strongholds, has gone down. So if the development narrative works in Kashmir, if people are happier there, have people in Jammu become disappointed, so it doesn't work both ways, I guess. But right now, we're talking about BJP not fielding candidates, not comfortable to field candidates in Kashmir, but middle of elections, today Amit Shah is visiting Kashmir, and officially it is being stated, it's for security reasons, it's for security review as Home Minister. But apparently the reports are that he's met BJP leaders, BJP activists. Locally, he's been meeting a lot of Pahadi leaders. So, what is this? Do you have a sense of why he is there at this point?
I am surprised at this development. This is, in the midst of elections, for him to go and review the Kashmir situation. If nothing untoward has happened or is likely to happen, then why should the Home Minister of India make a visit when he's so busy in elections in the rest of the country? So it is a very surprising development. And I think security could not be the only reason.
Coming back to the voter turnout, and it's expected that even in the other two constituencies, if everything goes well, people will come out and vote in Kashmir. So do you see hope and space for engagement in Kashmir still?
I definitely see hope for engagement and dialogue in Kashmir, provided the government is ready to do that. You might be aware of the fact that after I visited Kashmir in 2016, I came back and I was still in the BJP, and I tried my level best to convince the powers that be to engage in a dialogue in Kashmir. And my advice fell on deaf ears. On the other hand, the impression which was conveyed to me was that it will not be through dialogue, but through the bullet that they will be able to control Kashmir. And my political lexicon will show that the bullet doesn't work. It might work temporarily, but it's only dialogue which will create a permanent peace. So I was extremely disappointed, but there we are.
In any other government, even BJP in the past under Vajpayee had initiated the dialogue, and people in Kashmir remember him for his initiative. Manmohan Singh continued that. Do you think any other government could do a meaningful reach out to Kashmiris?
I'm sure if the India alliance were to come to power, then they will be reaching out to the Kashmiris. They will be starting a dialogue. They might even appoint an interlocutor or two and engage the various interest groups in Kashmir in a dialogue. And the purpose clearly should be to ensure that it's a meeting of hearts and not bullets in the hearts of the people.
Thank you for saying it. meeting of hearts and not the bullets. That's a very important point you make, and we'll end here. Thank you so much. Thank you for
Thank
your insights.